Hey, everybody, welcome back to another edition of the BH Sales Kennel Kelp Holistic Healing Hour. I want to check with my buddy Tim. We did hit the switch, correct?
Yep.
On his side of life, because I want to stop it here. So, continue with this. You have to understand, folks, Tim and I are chuckling. Here we are today, and we want to keep it that way. So, Tim's with us for probably about 35, 45 minutes, somewhere in that neck of the woods. So I want to welcome back Tim Doyle, and I want him to help us out with the parasite prayer. And we're going to go from there, and we're going to see what the golden ones have to say about life in general.
Okay, Bill. So we'll start with the prayer protection. And the prayer protection was given to me back in, oh my goodness gracious, 1971. And it was given to me to protect me when I went into meditation. I didn't feel comfortable being in meditation without protection. And so when you say the prayer protection going into meditation, because many things happen to you if you go into a deep meditations, physically, mentally, emotionally, inside and around you. So if you say the prayer of the protection, then you know that whatever is going on in and around you, it's divine guidance. And so you just have to stay calm and accept what's happening to you. So also the prayer protection is good. There are trapped souls who are here that do not move on. We have free will. And so when a soul dies, he does not have to go on, or she does not have to go on. The soul can stay behind because they may miss their loved ones, or they're taking care of a child and they don't want to leave the child. So you have free choice at the time of death. But once you stay behind, you're trapped here. That's why it's called a trapped soul. And a trapped soul will attach to a soul that's enlightened. And what happens is if you say the prayer of protection and you know that there's a trapped soul with you, you become a gateway for that soul to go through you to the next level of soul development. In fact, my teachers got me up last night at 2:30. They wanted me to come and to my altar behind me, and I had a special intention, and so they asked me to come to the altar with my special intention. Well, I knew when they asked me to come to the altar for a special intention that I had to do the prayer of protection to release a trapped soul. And when I do that, Bill, I stand at my altar and I say the prayer. I can feel the energy of this trapped soul spiraling through me and up and out. So it's a very powerful tool, and you can tell if you have a trapped soul with you, as if you look in the mirror and you think you're going to see someone standing behind you. That's a sign that there's a trapped soul. Or if you're taking a shower and you think someone is with you in the shower, that's a sign of a trapped soul. Say the prayer of protection, and immediately a trapped soul will come to you because they feel that you can help them. So we'll say the prayer of protection now. Okay. Mother, Father God, we thank you for surrounding us in a circle of light and an armor of love, in which nothing can remain and through which nothing can penetrate, unlike divine love itself. We thank you for removing all energies and entities unlike divine love, whether they are malicious, deterrent, innocent, or ignorant. Take them to thy Father for light and liberation. The Mother, Father, God frees these souls, frees these energies and entities, and I am accepts no reversal, individually or collectively, for the treatment of these energies and entities. We thank you in the name of the living God, consciousness, Satnam. Okay, Bill.
Take it away, Tim. I would love to hear, what are you hearing, feeling, observing the world as it turns, moving forward on its axis at this date and time?
Okay. Well, we're starting to get to, what happened is 21 December 2012, Earth, our solar system, completed a journey around the galactic center of the Milky Way galaxy. And at the same time, our solar system moved from a third dimension, selfish vibrational frequency into the fifth dimension vibratory frequency of compassion and love. So everyone on the planet has to vibrate in this vibratory frequency of compassion and love. All right. Now, that was in 2012. That was 12 years ago, almost 12 years ago completely. And things are starting to happen. We can see around the world where corruption is being exposed. All right. People are resigning from their positions and so forth. Now, what happens is as we move into the fifth dimension vibratory frequency of love and compassion, eventually this is the start of the golden age, where a soul no longer needs to experience the birth, death, rebirth cycle, as long as their intentions, thoughts, words, and actions are in line with the universal law of creation, which is harmony, balance, order, and unity for the good of all. So when a soul is in alignment in that frequency, and they're doing harmony, balance, order, and unity for their self and for their loved ones around them, the universal law of creation recognizes that soul, and it brings the soul's desires and dreams into manifestations. That's how dreams and desires become manifested in a soul's life when a soul is in harmony, balance, order with the universal law of creation. The universal law of creation wants to support the soul by bringing their desires and dreams into manifestations, because they know the soul is working with the law of creation. So now let's talk about President Trump. All right. We know that corruption is being exposed. And I also have heard that there are extraterrestrials working with Trump, all right, protecting President Trump, extraterrestrials. Now,
Tim, I'm so sorry. Can I interject real quickly on that point?
yes.
Do you feel they were in his hip pocket or vest pocket on that event, the extraterrestrials? And I'm sorry to break your timing, but do you feel they definitely were in his pocket at that time? Continue.
Of course. Now,
Thank you.
nothing can happen in this world, in this earth training school, unless the soul is the first cause of an action. The universal law of cause and effect conditions a soul to act accordingly. So if I steal from someone, someone will steal from me. And I learn not to steal. So with Trump, his ear in a previous life, Trump inflicted pain in another soul's ear. Okay?
Wow.
All right. Now, this is his karma debt. When you cause and effect, when you create a cause to someone else, you have to receive that also. But in a karma life experience, if you embrace it, good always happens from that. So this was a perfect opportunity for Trump to feel the effect of cause and effect of what he's done to others, and how by not that he had a choice, but by experiencing this life experience, what did it do for him? He turned it around by raising his fist and indicating fight. He inspired people.
He did, and I just got to interject, and I know, and you will obviously elucidate on this point. Literally overnight and within minutes, you could see his countenance, not right then and there. That was the most iconic picture I've ever seen in my life, in my humble opinion. But that aside, couple days after the ear patch and all, you can see it in his countenance and in his eyes. Can you continue on that vein, which you probably were going to anyway? You can see it. You can see it.
Not only with him, but everyone. It inspired everyone.
Correct.
Now,
Correct.
Nostradamus predicted that in the election for 2024, a storm was coming. A storm. That assassination attempt created a storm. And what it's doing is everyone who was on the line of, should I vote for Trump? Should I not to vote for Trump? And so forth. They saw that, hey, they tried to convict him with court cases. They falsely accused him of dealing with the Russians. They tried to put him in jail. Now they're trying to assassinate him. So everyone is seeing that they do not want this man in power, because they know that if Trump gets into power, he will use compassion and love and get rid of all the corruption, not only in the United States, but worldwide. Corruption will be exposed, and the people around the world are going to want a government that's for the people and by the people. So it's a very, powerful situation. Now, we could talk, I don't know if we want to or not, but we could talk about the logic used by the Secret Service to saying that the slope was dangerous.
I want you to be as comfortable, because I am. I think it should be talked about. So I'm going to let you make that call. I'm perfectly comfortable going there.
Well, it's pretty obvious, not only to us, Bill, but even to expert snipers around that have previously been in the government, that are in the government, to think that why was not someone on that roof protecting that roof? And they, back in when JFK was assassinated, all right, they had Lee Harvey Oswald, and he became the GOAT. They said,
of course he did.
He worked with a Russian. He had a Russian wife, and he shot. But it really wasn't Oswald that killed JFK.
Of course not.
Well,
of course, Daily, in the bluff is where it finished the job, if you will, the grassy knoll.
No,
continue.
Bill.
Yeah.
It wasn't the
Before that.
Bill, it wasn't the grassy knoll. It was the driver and the passenger side and the front seat.
What I meant to say is the obstruction, that big block construction. That's where they turned around and shot him.
Right.
That we couldn't see it, and we're glad that the event didn't happen for sure. But it wouldn't have been so Zagruder-ish, God forbid if it did. Everybody and their brother had cameras, and hey, the guy's up on the roof. I'm sorry, Tim, continue.
Yeah.
Continue.
So with JFK, the shooter was the passenger in the front seat of the car. He turned around, shot the president. That's why Jacqueline Kennedy jumped out of the car.
Correct.
She saw the gunman, and she thought he was going to kill her next, so she jumped out of the car. So they needed a patsy, which was Oswald. The same thing with this young kid on the roof, 20 years old, and and it's funny, Bill, he was in a BlackRock commercial. Now, I don't know if people know BlackRock.
Yes, he was. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, he was. Continue with that.
BlackRock is... let's say they hire mercenaries in the Ukraine war. All right.
Let's say that.
They have mercenaries in Ukraine, and they do things that the government needs done that they can't do it legally, so they get BlackRock to do it. So here they got this young kid, and he had a cell phone that they couldn't break into. Now, how does a 20-year-old have a cell phone you can't break into?
You took the words right out of my mouth. You can hack any 20-year-old kid's phone if continue.
So they finally hacked into it, and then they found out that there were maybe 2 other shooters, but they needed a scapegoat. So they used the kid. The other 2 who were probably I won't say Secret Service, but let's say they were professional snipers. They needed to pin it on someone, so they pinned it on this kid. They need to kill someone.
Can I interject one thing there, Tim? I won't say that either verbatim, but if I was a betting man, and I quit a long time ago, but if I was a betting man, I'd take that bet and continue.
Well, the excuse that the director of the Civil Service used is that they didn't have anyone on that roof because of the slope. There was barely a slope on that building.
How ridiculous is that to even say that? But
exactly right. Even to say that was ridiculous.
So first of all, it's an insult. It's an insult to those of us that do have a semblance of a brain and a pair of eyes. Even mine, after 5 operations, another subject. Continue.
But Bill, also, I don't know if you noticed that after Trump got shot, did you see the Secret Service people around him? They were ladies.
I did.
They were ladies, smaller than Trump, where they could.
And listen. I'm so sorry. Did you see at least the one that it was like the Wild Wild West? I don't know if I can get my gun in the holster. I don't know if I can get it out. Oh my God, what do I do now? And I mean, continue.
Yeah, they were. Well, it came out that they weren't. That Joe Biden had an event the same day, and they took Trump's agents, took Trump's security and moved it to Jill Biden. Like someone was going to wanted to hurt Jill Biden. Okay, the famous Dr. Joe Biden. So they
what, by the way, subject for another time. Continue.
Yeah. So Trump didn't have the best security force with him.
He really didn't. I mean, he really didn't. But continue.
No, but so he was. We could say divine guidance. I've known that extraterrestrials have been with Trump for the past. Oh my God, maybe 6 months.
Okay.
They've been with him.
I've heard that said, and I'm good that you're concurring to that. Continue.
Yeah, they watch out for him, and it just so happens that the nick in the ear was a karma repayment. He had to repay that debt, but it was also by repaying that debt. It was an inspirational moment for the rest of the country.
Oh my God, was it ever?
So this created a storm. Now, it's going to be a crazy next.
It really is.
3 months.
It really is. Can you kind of reassure everybody? I mean, it's going to be pretty bad for the next 3 months. Can you help everybody kind of subside that tide? Because that tide's going to come, but continue.
Well, it's not going to be too much. See, let's just say that you've got the white hats, which is the angels and archangels.
I chuckle in a good way because it's so spot on. Continue.
And we have the black hats that
we do. Oh boy, do we! Continue.
That pay homage to Lucifer. So what's going to happen in the next months? Now, what they're afraid of, the Democrats, is when someone goes to vote, and if they love the president, they're going to vote Republican for the president, the Senate, the House of Congressional House, the mayor, local senator. They're going to write down the line, Republican, 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 Republican. And this is what they're afraid of. Now,
very, very great.
The Democrats have to do something to try and win their supporters back. So what they may try to
Is
do.
this the way? Is this the way that they? Is this the way that they really fathom that they're going to do it? But continue.
Well, wait a minute now. What if someone dressed up like a mega supporter tried to assassinate Joe Biden?
Oh my goodness! I don't even. I hope I'm not on this planet. I'll be ready to go to the next one if that happens. I don't want to. I don't want to hear that. God forbid. God forbid. God
Bill,
forbid. Continue. Yeah.
it's just someone dressed up like a mega supporter.
If they walk by the building, Tim, without, and oh my God, here they are, or, it'll just be so chaotic. But continue, because that's not out of the realm of reality.
No.
Of that being interpreted. Continue.
See, you see, the Democrats already know that they can't come out and say anything more against Trump. Okay.
Not now.
No.
Not now.
So they don't have anything about their policies with immigrations, gas prices, inflations, and so forth. They can't argue there. So they've got to do something to win their voters back, to put a shadow on Trump and his mega Republicans and so forth. So all I can say is, don't be surprised if the black hats attempt to do this just to try and win support back for Biden. Sympathy votes.
So right now, would you concur with my crazy analogy? Do you think we're at the OK Corral? Right now, are we at the OK Corral?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, and this is a tip for readers. Precious metals, all right? Precious metals, if you can afford to buy gold or silver now, buy it. And the reason being is that I'm in China, and I get to see, I get news from all over the world. China has the BRIC, and it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, Saudi Arabia.
They have the BRIC.
They're all buying.
The U.S. dollar is done.
They're all buying gold, okay?
Absolutely.
And pretty soon what they're going to do is turn in their dollars. And when they turn in their dollars, the dollar is going to crash. However, when Trump comes in, he wants to get away from the central banks, all right, that is charging interest for the IRS, the trillion. He says he's going to pay off his debt, the United States debt. Says, I can pay that off in one day. Bill, how does President Trump pay off $34 trillion worth of debt in one day? You know how he does it? He takes his gold and he reevaluates gold to cover the cost of the debt. That means that gold, right now, the Bitcoin is at, I think, about $65,000. Gold will go to about $65,000, $80,000 an ounce.
Real quickly, and this isn't a pun, and Tim did not set this up for me. He did not. If anybody needs some advice on that, 7K Metals, I'll gladly help you out. Just with the information, the links in my description of the show. No pun, no marketing, no push. It's just coincidental. That's what I try to do. So if anybody just wants the information on how it's working for me. Sorry, Tim, continue.
No, that's okay,
because
Bill.
It's so important what you're saying.
Well, what's happening is in the United States, how they suppress the price of gold is they have paper gold.
Yep.
And one bank will sell paper gold, 1 million ounces of paper gold to bring the price down. And then the next day, someone will buy $1 million of paper to bring the price back up.
Look at all the paper currencies around the world they burnt great big piles, literally and figuratively, when they lost their value, right?
And so what's going to happen is when Trump comes in, he's going to get away from the dollar and go to the gold standard, which United States got away from in 1972. And
Tricky Dick Nixon.
yeah,
Tricky Dick Nixon.
yeah,
Yeah, continue.
yeah. And in 72. And so they bought they call it the petrodollar because they use it to buy oil. Well, that's all going to go away. That's all going to go away. We're going to go to a gold standard. The price of gold's going to escalate. And if you're a smart investor, take your money, buy gold or silver, because they're both going out. And normally silver is 1/10 the price of gold. So if gold's at $1,000, silver should be $100. But right now the ratio is, I think, about 70-1 or 60-1 or something like that.
Right as we speak, you're pretty much spot on, pun intended. You're pretty much spot on right as we speak.
So silver now, gold has a value for, most people don't realize this, but gold is used in spacecrafts.
Correct.
Because there's no resistance to gold. So all the electrical wires in a spacecraft are all in gold because they need pure communications in the frequency when they use their communication devices. They don't want to have any resistance. Now, silver is important because they need silver for hospitals, tools, even in cars, they need the silver. So they have to mine the silver. And right now, silver is very barely being afford to mine silver because the price is just starting to get to the point where it's worth a minor value to mine silver. So silver will start taking off. Silver and gold go hand in hand, but in the next year, silver is supposed to outperform gold. So
another quick caveat. Sorry. And again, I'm not pushing anybody on anything. It's the reason I'm there at that program that I mentioned. You can do it in incremental amounts according to what you're afforded to do. That's one of the really huge advantages if anybody's interested in that. I'm not pushing it on anybody. It's just an information thing. Continue, Tim.
And take possession of the gold or the silver. Don't leave it with an institution.
Absolutely.
Don't leave it with the institution because what you're buying is paper gold. What you want to do is buy the gold and the silver and have it in your hand or in your own possession. We do this in China. China has a very good system here of buying gold and so forth. Very good system. And so forth. So, Bill, that is precious metals. That's a good tip for people who are listening. Precious metal.
And I'm so glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, precious metals.
Thank you.
I'm trying to scan see if anything else the teachers want to share. Anything else, Bill, on your...
Real quickly, just on I like to try to make humor out of every situation. So please, everybody, you guys and gals know me. Tim, not so much on air with me, but very recently used Donald Trump's astrological and numerical report. And it kind of was in another show about mine, because the last time Tim was with me, we talked about the constellations and the planets. So my joke, and I mean this seriously, in that report, was there any little sign right then and there that what you said, or did we overlook it, or did we just overlook it?
Well, you know what, Bill? I did that report a year ago. All right.
Okay, I know it was like midsummer last year.
Yeah, I did it a year ago because it was a very positive report about what I felt was a person that was going to create a tremendous change in the world. He's they talk negatively about him, but he's just a good businessman.
Constantly.
And so
Yep.
I thought it was, I did it a year ago. And then my webmaster, Sid, he put it up in a newsletter before
Right.
the assassination. And I thought that was crazy.
I saw it because I get Sid's newsletter, but continue.
Well, it's kind of funny because my webmaster is excellent.
He's a great guy too, Sid. But anyway, so
Excellent.
continue.
So
Yeah, he really is.
he
He really
put
is.
that up, and I thought, that isn't that crazy? And then the assassination came, so it brought a lot of attention to Trump, and also to the astrology and numerology reports. And those reports, I've been doing those reports for, oh my God, 40 years now. I've been doing them professionally for 12 years, and they are so accurate. These reports, astrology and numerology reports, are so accurate. In fact, what I do now I teach English here in China, and with my students, I have them attempt to read their astrology and numerology reports in English, so they can expand their vocabulary. But also what it does, it teaches the soul so much, the student, so much about the qualities of their being, their abilities, their talents, their knowledge, their wisdom, their characteristics. And no one's going to tell you, Bill. I know you've read the reports because
I sure have. I just did a show yesterday about my reports that you did and talked about it. But continue.
no one's going to tell you, Bill, what a great person you have, or how great your mind is, or how good your communication skills are.
Right,
No one's going to tell you that. But when you read it, when you read about yourself, it gives you confidence about your abilities, your talents, your knowledge, and wisdom. So they're great reports.
All kidding aside, it does facilitate getting balance because all the self doubt, or you didn't know, or you didn't hear it enough, or whatever your personal, entourage is with not hearing it, but you're so spot on. Uncle Charlie or whomever's not going, hey, you're a pretty conscientious guy, or whatever. You're not going to get that.
No,
And you're not going to get
no.
that. You're not
But
going to get that.
and let me just do a commercial.
Do it, please.
Bill, how many pages are in the astrology and numerology report?
Oh my God! Listen, folks. When he says it's in depth, I talked about this yesterday. Thank you, because he's documenting what I said. It's 28 pages, and when I'm saying 28 pages, within the 28 pages, the PDF and so forth. I'm a member of the program, and I also had him do my report twice because I was off on my birth hour of the day by about 50 minutes. And I really honestly don't know if it made any difference or not. I don't care because we had the first one to the second one. And I didn't interpret that there really was any significant difference. And that's kind of an irrelevant point. But those are the key points to initiate. If you want to reiterate, for those that don't know, what they need to avow to get the report, go ahead. Their birthday, the time where they were born.
Yeah, it's very simple because the astrology report is based on the time of birth of the soul and their place of birth in relationship to the planets and the constellations, the 12 constellations in the Milky Way galaxy. So all the constellations have characteristics and the planets have characteristics, and there's 12 houses in your astrology chart. They go from your personality, the first house, to your money, to communications, to family, to your romance, to health, to partnerships, to other people's money, travel, your career, your social life, and things that you are private about. So there's 12 houses, and how these constellations and planets affect all those houses. And then the numerology report is based on your name and date of birth. And for some reason, one's based on numerology, one's based on astrology, and they both complement one another. They
They sure
complement one
do.
another. Now,
They sure
I
do.
charge a small fee of $13. And why 13? It's a spiritual number. And it takes me about an hour to do it. So I charge a minimum expense to do these reports. But also, these reports are good for you. But if you're in a relationship, there's compatibility reports. Now, you can date a man or a lady for 6 months and then find out, oh, this is not the right
All
person.
kinds of stuff.
Or you can get an astrology and numerology compatibility
Right.
report and find
And
out in
find
an
it out quicker.
hour.
And I tease a little bit, but find it out quicker.
You find out in an hour this person
Yeah,
is not good for
exactly.
me. So
Saves a lot of aggravation sometimes.
it
Continue.
really is. When I do an astrology and numerology report, I'll look at it. I'll do it for the person, and then I'll look at it to see if it's a good. And 9 out of 10 times, it's a very good relationship, and I'm very happy to send it to them, and I'll say something like, "It's a very good
But there's the
relationship."
one, I know where you're going to go, but there's the ones, whether you convey to them or not, that you'll say, geez, I hope they never get together. I'm teasing a little bit, but continue.
Yeah.
Continue.
So the compatibility reports are extremely beneficial if you're in a relationship or before you get married and you want to make sure, or if there's doubts in your mind or anything like
Another
that.
quick footnote, Tim. I'm sorry for keep talking over you, but I just did a show in my business mentor moments. That's applicable to an accompanying business relationship or a potential business relationship
Exactly.
also.
Exactly.
Continue. Continue.
Yeah.
Continue.
You're right, Bill. You're right. You can do it for a business relationship. Um, I don't know why. I'm more geared to a couples. Any couples
No.
can.
Me too. Me too. But having
Yes.
lived all of
Yes.
those haunted things in my past, if I have anything to tell you young people or whatever in your careers, you might want to keep that in mind. Most assuredly in your
Yeah.
personal relationship,
Yeah. If you
which
know.
which extrapolates into your business life, depending on how good or bad your personal life is anyway. So
Bill, that's an excellent report, and I may put that on my website that it's a business tool
please do.
too,
Please do.
because you're absolutely right. If you're going in business with someone, it will tell you whether it's a good partnership or business relationship, or yeah, it is. It will tell you that
I
too.
mean, that gets into a lot of saving of heartache and attitudes and latitudes, and not to be mercenary, but in that world, it
Yeah,
can get you to save a lot of money before you have to find out that you shouldn't have done it in the first place. Continue.
exactly,
Continue.
exactly.
Continue.
So yeah, that's very good, Bill. That we talked about the astrology and numerology reports. Uh, Let me see. Bill, I don't know if there's anything else.
You know what? I think that's a pretty good summation. Thank you to yourself. Thank you to the gods as always. And I really felt that this was going to transpire, and I'm so glad that you were comfortable in doing. And I knew you. I know we've talked. I knew you were comfortable. I have no problem with it at all because it needs to be said.
Yeah.
It needs to be
Bill,
said.
Bill, we can talk. There's not one subject that I cannot discuss with anyone pertaining to life in this Earth Spiritual Training School. I have been thoroughly trained in any area, and I'm working on a couple of things now for the future.
Good.
And I have to be patient with myself because I want it sooner than.
What's your sign? And I mean that because that's an attribute. I know your sign. That's an attribute to your sign. Tell folks about that.
Yeah,
Patience. Patience.
yeah,
I'm so guilty of patient lack of. I'm working on it. I'm
yeah.
working on it. But that's passion also.
Well, I get impatient, and then my teachers, like for example, we put out something on Tantra just recently,
Correct. I just went back through it again. You did.
and channeling that energy up the spine. My teachers, I'm working on something now, and I'm saying when it's going to happen, and they go, "How long did it take you to master channeling the semen up the spine?" And I go, "Oh my God, it took
A
like
long time, right?
2 years. 2
Well, of
years."
course.
2 years.
Actually, that's probably in my novice. That's probably still pretty quick. I mean, it takes
Yeah,
a while.
it
Takes a
is.
while.
It is. And I would tell all men they need to do that. All men need, because that semen nourishes your organs, and it goes to the brain. It
So true.
creates
It's so true.
longevity in you. All right. So it's extremely important for men to look at that. Plus, they want to please their partner. So
For sure. For sure.
that is the responsibility of that. Is the male always has to please his partner. She's
They
feeling.
are the queens. They are the queens.
Well, see, what happens is the energy of creation is feeling. When you get that feeling like, oh, what do you want? I feel like I want, that's the creative energy. Now, females are naturally feelings. They feel like what needs to be done. And it's the male's responsibility to use his logic to say,
Correct.
okay, this is how we're going to do it. So a female feels, the male creates, brings it together, and they work together to manifest their dreams and desires. But the male has to listen to the female. Has to. 10,000 years ago, the governments around the world were ruled by females. They did it, they nurturing. It was a fifth dimension frequency, so they were in the frequency of love and compassion. So the female wants to take care of the people, do right for the people. So she would go to her men and say, listen, we need a program to feed the poor. Do it. And so he would go out and say, okay, how will we do it? Well, we'll go to the farmers and we'll gather grain or corn or something like that. It was his role to implement her dreams. And that goes on now. That's the responsibility of a male now in this Earth Spiritual Training School. All right, Bill.
We should probably cut it because we'll be talking until next Monday.
No, let's cut this.
But as always, Tim, thank you so much. I can't wait till the next lunar cycle. Real quickly, Tim usually comes not right to the exact science, pun intended, but usually between each lunar cycle and the next new one, Tim's Sunday, right? Lunar cycle. Is it Sunday?
It's pretty
It's real soon. It's real soon.
real soon. Yeah, I noticed the moon's almost full. Yeah.
We'll leave it at that until next time, my friend. Thank you so much. And thank you for this conversation and all of our conversations. I love all of them. Namaste, my friend.
Namaste, Bill, and thank you for the invitation. Okay.
Always, always. I'll see you next month.
All right.
Not before.
Okay.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good day. Bye, everybody.
Visit us at www.thepathtooneness.com. Join the membership program for all the latest teachings from the Golden Ones. Visit us on Facebook and LinkedIn at thepathtooneness.com.